Hi, my name is Brandon, and I'm an alcoholic and addict in recovery. And when I was in my addiction, and even before that, I took myself very seriously, almost comically seriously. And I thought there was a lot of value in being kind of a brooding person who thought everything was life or death, and everything had to go a specific way and be done in a specific way. And one of the things that you hear about in recovery is the value in not taking yourself so seriously. And in his book, A New Pair of Glasses, Chuck C talks about this. He says, I'm convinced that you and I have to do this without getting too serious about it. We get too serious and nothing happens. And he talks about Rule 62, which a lot of people who are in an AA program or a 12-step program might be familiar with. He says there's a little green book, and on the front cover it says Rule 62, and you open it up and every page in the book is vacant except the double truck in the middle, and it says don't take yourself too goddamn seriously. So this has been really important for me to remember, because I think that when I take myself too seriously, I am in danger of getting caught up in my ego and pride big time. And those are two of the things that I've really got to watch out for in my recovery, because when I get caught up in ego and pride, I start being in danger of getting caught up in things like self-pity. I start getting caught up in things like self-obsession, and I start thinking about myself more often than I'm thinking about other people's. And one of other people, and one of the goals of my recovery is to try to think about other people as often as possible. And so when I get too caught up in life around me and in getting things to go the way I want, a lot of times that's a sign to me that I'm getting too serious about things and I need to back off a little bit. You know, life is not within our control, and we really would do ourselves and the people around us a service if we tried to have fun with it. And a lot of us would say that that's why we liked to drink or do drugs, is that we were trying to have fun with life. And that might have been true for a little bit, and it might have actually happened for a little bit. Um, but really, once we do some work in whatever program we're working, we realize that usually the real reason we got heavily involved in doing alcohol or drugs is because we were running from something. We were trying to cope with something. And it really was less about having fun and more about addressing some fear, some lack that we couldn't figure out how to address any other way. For example, I would argue that, I started drinking just to have fun at parties. And I would argue that till I was blue in the face. And it wasn't until recovery that I asked myself the question, well, why couldn't you have fun at parties without drinking? This question has come up again recently for me because I got invited to go hang out with a group of friends from college to spend a weekend with them. And I know, and these are old drinking buddies. Our entire relationship in college was built around drinking and fraternizing with alcohol. And I know that most of these gentlemen still drink heavily, and that will be a big theme of the weekend. And one of the things that I'm having to remember is not to take myself too seriously. I've gotten, in thinking about whether to accept this invitation, I've had some moments where I've thought, well, what if this happens? What if that happens? What if, I get there and I'm really uncomfortable, and I don't, it's out in the middle of nowhere. I don't have anywhere to go. Well, I'll have my car. I can drive away. Well, what will that look like? What will people think of me? Who cares? I start to get ego and pride involved, and all of a sudden uh, these worries that really have very simple answers become big problems that I don't know how to solve. I don't know how to resolve. And then I don't know if I should go to this thing or not. Don't take it seriously. Just go, try to have fun. And look, I've had to remind myself, maybe there's someone there who needs to see me having fun without alcohol. Maybe there's someone there who has a problem, who needs to see that, yeah, it's possible for even a heavy drinker, alcoholic drinker like myself, to stop drinking and then go back and have fun with the guys without it. You know, maybe there's someone there who has questions about what that's like, and the universe is kind of guiding me to this situation so I can answer those questions. So, if I take myself too seriously about it, I get caught up in a lot of hypotheticals and really selfish thinking around it. But if I don't take it too seriously and say, well, if I'm uncomfortable, hey, I can just drive home. That's something I'm not used to. I'm not used to being able to just, leave a place at midnight without consequence. Usually if I'm leaving a place at midnight, it's in a cab because I can't drive. And so I got to remind myself, hey, as long as I've got a car, I can leave a place anytime I feel like because I'll be sober doing it. So these are the things that I bring this up as an example of, something that happened to me recently where I got caught up in the more morbid hypotheticals about, well, what happens if this happens? What kind of situation could come up? And if I just don't take it too seriously and say, look, I'm just going to do my thing, let life unroll the way it is, see what happens, and not really put as much thought into it and just have fun with it, then all of a sudden things feel a lot better and they feel like they're unrolling the way that they should. So it's really important for us to remember that in recovery. And you can get caught up in other people's seriousness sometimes. You go to some meetings and there will be people there who speak in very, very dire terms, and they're very serious about things, and that's fine for them. But listen, I like to listen to the people who seem to be having fun. I like to listen to the people who seem to always have a smile on their face. Even if they're talking about something serious, you can watch them after the meeting and they're so happy. Those are the people who have something I want. The joy of life, being able to live life joyously and not take it so seriously. I used to think there was value in that seriousness, and now I see that the opposite is true, that usually being too serious about life is a sign that you're a little bit too caught up in yourself. And finding that joy, that carefree attitude, that's one of the biggest rewards that I've received in recovery. And I still work on it. It's work to maintain it. And I don't always maintain it. Sometimes I get too serious. But being able to just sit back and smile and say, damn, this is amazing, and not worry too much about what's going on, that is one of the biggest gifts that I could have ever asked for in recovery. So I hope you have a great day. I hope you have a great 4th of July. I know this is a tough holiday for a lot of people. So one thing I do want to say is reach out if you need something. Reach out. There's plenty of online meetings you can go to. Just search for online alcoholic support group, online drug addiction support group. You'll find online meetings. Reach out if you need help today. Just because it's Independence Day does not mean you have to go it alone. You've got an entire community here who's available for you. Reach out, ask for help, because that is part of the work that we have to do in recovery. In the meantime, have a good day, have a safe holiday, and I will see you back here tomorrow with more.